Hello, fellow Shakespeareans. It's time for episode 2 of SONGspeare 2020, Othello. A haircut. My kingdom for a haircut. You may notice that my Shakespeare collection has gotten quite a lot larger since last time, because what do you do if you have so much time from not working as a self-employed musician that you can make a YouTube channel about Shakespeare art song? Spend a bunch of money on Shakespeare plays. Yeah, good idea. Othello is not one of the more musical Shakespeare plays, but it does have a few songs in it. It has the Act 2 drinking songs that Iago sings. One is "And Let Me, the Canakin Clink," and the other one is "King Stephen Was and a Worthy Peer." And then, of course, everybody's favorite thing, the Act 4 Willow Song. I think everybody who read Othello in high school probably has some sort of weird love of the Willow Song. As it turns out, there are earlier versions of both of these songs. So in the Arden edition, which clearly I like my Arden editions, the music is actually printed at the back. So in the Arden, you can see music that was probably sung at the time of Shakespeare. Interestingly enough, for Willow Song, he did rewrite the words, so he changed the perspective of the song from a male perspective to a female perspective, which has a lot to do with Desdemona. It may not be that surprising to find that not very many composers have been drawn to the first music in the play, the drinking songs. Luckily, I actually did manage to find a couple. The one that I chose to sing is by Italian composer Mario Castelnuovo-Tedesco. Now, he's not a very well-known composer unless you're a guitarist. If you're a guitarist, you're probably thinking, of course people know Mario Castelnuovo-Tedesco. They don't. But that's okay. He actually wrote quite a few Shakespeare songs. He wrote different sets of Shakespeare songs for different voice types, so we're probably going to be hearing from him. He also tended to write accompaniments that I don't play very well. So luckily, I asked, you answered, and I have a guest accompanist this week. It's Cindy Lindeen-Martin, who will be playing the Mario Castelnuovo-Tedesco piece. So if you're interested in collaborating with these as another singer or as an accompanist, doesn't have to be piano, harp would fit a lot of these, let me know and we might be able to work something out. So, we get a little break from all the drama of the Willow Song in the Mario Castelnuovo-Tedesco piece, but there are about 12 Willow Song settings that I know of, not counting opera arias. They are generally gorgeous, and they are generally very dramatic and slow and touchy-feely. But I decided to go with, as I usually do, more obscure pieces, things that people don't know very well. So Eric Korngold has written a very great setting of the piece, but it's also been recorded a lot. There's a well-known version by Arthur Sullivan of Gilbert and Sullivan, words not by Gilbert, and there's a fairly well-known version by Hubert Parry that's been recorded a few times. The versions I did decide to record are by Stuart Findlay, who I literally cannot find very much information about at all. I'm not sure what his birth and death dates are. He's an enigma to me. And by Samuel Coleridge-Taylor, not Samuel Taylor Coleridge. He was a poet. Stuart Findlay, like I said, I know almost nothing about. I assume he was a British composer and might have been writing for the Royal Shakespeare Company. But other than that, I really don't know very much about him. Samuel Coleridge-Taylor is actually someone that we should know better. He's a great composer, you'll hear that in the music, but also he is a historically significant composer in that he was a very successful composer of African descent at the beginning of the 20th century in London. He was actually so well regarded that he was known as the African Mahler by some, which I assume it was meant as a compliment. So, what can you say about settings of the Willow Song? There are a couple ways you can take it. It's either a nice song that Desdemona sings before she dies, or it is the hint that something very, very bad is coming, and the song itself is about jealousy, a lover who was unfaithful, which is exactly what she's been accused of. The Stuart Findlay setting is a little bit more of a musical piece. It's not so much responsive to the theater of the situation, but it is a little bit more dissonant, especially in the beginning. It's more adventurous, harmonically. The Samuel Coleridge-Taylor actually seems like something that a Desdemona could sing, a song she might have remembered from her childhood. So without much further ado, here are those three pieces. One drinking song, Iago's songs from Act 2, and then two versions of Desdemona's Act 4 Willow Song. And let me the canakin clink, 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 and let me the canakin clink. A soldier's a man, a life's but a span. Why then let a soldier drink? King Stephen was a worthy peer. His breeches cost him but a crown. He held them sixpence all too dear. With that he called the tale alone. He was a white of high renown, and thou art but of low degree. 'Tis pride that pulls the country down. Then take thine own cloak about thee. And let me the canakin clink, 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 and let me the canakin clink. A soldier's a man, a life's but a span. Why then let a soldier drink? The poor soul sat sighing by a sycamore tree. Sing all a green willow, willow, willow. Her hand on her bosom, her head on her knee. Sing willow, willow, The fresh streams ran by her and murmured her moans. Sing willow, willow, willow. Her salt tears fell from her and softened the stone. Sing willow, sing all a green willow must be my garland. Let nobody blame him, his scorn I approve. I called my love false love, but what said he then? Sing willow, willow, The poor soul sat sighing by a sycamore tree. Sing all a green willow. from her head on her knee, sing willow, willow, willow. The fresh streams ran by her and murmured her moans. Sing willow, willow, willow. Her salt tears fell from her and softened the stones. Sing all a green willow must be my garland. So that is just a small amount of the music that's been inspired by Shakespeare's Othello. There's a lot more, but there's no time for that. I have been so pleased with the response from people in my own personal life, the people in the Shakespeare group, how much interest people have in this little offshoot of the Shakespeare 2020 project. I certainly think it's cool, but it's nice to see that some other people think that all of this research-based musical nerdiness is rewarding. If you want to keep up with future episodes, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and if you have anything you loved, anything you hated, anything you want to know more about, anything you'd like to see in a future episode, just let me know in the comments. See you next time.